Hey, my name's Chris, host of the History Canon podcast. Listen, if you're a fan of history, but you don't like feeling like you're learning when you're learning things, then trust me, this is a podcast for you. Why is it called World Canon, you might ask? Well, you know how historical worlds, like in books and video games and movies, have a historical canon that make up the story of that world? Well, here, we're going to go over the historical canon that makes up the reality of the world we live in. Now listen, I'll be honest with you, it's not going to be all serious, because that's boring. Remember back in school, nobody liked the history teacher, or any teacher for that matter, that just went on and on and on and drawled about some boring lesson, and never made it interesting for the students to learn. Well, here, we're going to go over the historical canon that makes up the reality of the world we live in. Well, not here. Here we are going to make it interesting, and we're going to entertain you while at the same time teaching you. Take it from me, an unqualified stranger on the internet who spends most of his time screaming and ranting into the void under the guise of a history podcast, trying to teach other strangers about history. But of course, there will be actual history included, so don't worry. From ancient civilizations and their surprisingly advanced ways of life, or their downright dirty, decrepit ones, vicious industries like the spice trade, and more recent history like nefarious gangsters, malicious cartels, government scandals, spies, coups, espionage, and of course, you can't have a history podcast without a little bit of war. Am I right or am I right? And at some point, we'll even talk about bananas, whatever that means. So please, if you like history, or you want to learn something to tell your friends later to sound smart, or you want something quote-unquote educational you can feel good about listening to while at work, then the World Canon Podcast is the podcast for you. So come check it out. Or don't. Who cares? I do, actually. I hate my job. So it'd be great if you could. You can find the World Canon Podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Thanks, and hope you enjoy.